On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, pal. How are you? Iran is possibly done very, very soon. I have first-hand insight, all right, from a senior administration official. Yeah, me. I can't tell you his name. That was part of the deal. James Flippin, you know, it seems like a million years ago that the Knicks won that game. It feels like it almost never happened. It was 36 hours ago. You know what I mean? There's something weird about time. Very weird about time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially even that game itself felt like it was like 4 games in one, given how many pits and falls, turns in that particular game. But yeah, I mean, the news cycle, as it's cliche, but it's constant. It never stops.
Let's see here. All right, we have this. Well, I'll tell you what I know about the Iran nuclear deal. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What we got? This is, and by the way, not that everybody's on the edge of their seat waiting for this stuff. One thing that was happening on Wednesday night while the Knicks were in that drama, we were bombing the hell out of Iran. There wasn't one person at that basketball game who knew or cared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like people weren't looking at their phones or anything like that. And the next morning it was all the Knicks, and that's fine. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's wrong at all. I'm saying that I think people just intuitively have confidence in President Trump. They know he has upper hand. It wasn't like, it's not like, thousands of people are dying in this war.
That's true, but don't you think it's also the way media is nowadays? Like I was talking with Carlos the other day off the air. And
who the hell is that?
Your producer, your board op. Well, he's not here right now.
Oh, that Carlos.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carlos spells his name with a K. And when you said Carlos, I just thought C. And that's not.
It is pronounced Carlos.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're just. I don't know.
This is getting sidetracked.
That's a little bit out of the left field, right?
Okay.
Anyway, when you said Carlos, I knew I was picturing somebody else who doesn't work here.
I see.
That Carlos with a K. Oh, that Carlos.
Yeah,
and what did
Carlos.
And what did he say?
He was asking me about the whole O.J. Simpson thing because I said, the Bronco chase happened during the 1994 NBA Finals, and they had a picture-in-picture where they were showing the actual game. And then in the lower part of the screen.
Now, you stop right there. I don't think that's true. Number one, it was daytime during the Bronco chase.
Yeah.
The basketball game hadn't started yet. I was in Mississippi, and that's East Coast time, and it was definitely bright outside when that was going down, when the chase was going down.
Okay. I mean, I guess maybe I'm Nelson Mandela.
You're misremembering it. You're pulling a Joe Biden.
Old, so.
You were 9. Okay, fine. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But anyway, you misinformed beloved Carlos.
I guess I did misinform him because to me it was like everything was coming out of the TV back then. There was no phone or internet or whatever. Maybe you could listen on the radio to get some news at that time, but they were going to break into programming. They were going to say, well, this is a big enough story that will interrupt the basketball for that.
They didn't even have picture-in-picture back then. I don't think they did that.
Oh, all right. Okay. I guess I'm totally wrong then.
Well, all right. So media is different, whatever. Thanks. The idea is, my got the scoop right here. Hold on a second, everybody.
Senior administration official.
Senior administration official. And you know that I know that you know that I know who really that is, but I can't tell you guys. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I can't. Let's see here. All right. Highly enriched uranium will be destroyed and taken out. Now, I had a question about this, and tell me if this is a dumb question. The person said, the senior administration official said, the highly enriched uranium will be destroyed and taken out. And I was kind of like, well, it's going to be destroyed and taken out, or taken out and destroyed. You know, what is that? Just why destroy it and take it out? Just take it out. I don't know. Right? It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, you're sort of wondering like where it's going to be destroyed.
I don't know. I just was like, okay, destroyed and taken out, because there was a lot of talk about destroying it in place or putting a circle of death and whatever.
Right.
They promised not to acquire a nuclear weapon. Inspections are part of this deal. Iran pledges not to fund terrorism anymore.
Who does the inspections? The UN?
It might be the IAEA. We're not sure. There's a technical aspect. A lot of this is still general. This is a memorandum of understanding, an MOU. All right? I understand. You write in the memo, it's like you and I have an arrangement of some kind, 12, 15. Let's see here. Iran pledges not to fund terrorism. They open the Strait of Hormuz. Now, what's in it for Iran? Sanctions go away. They get to be a normal country again. Doesn't that sound good? I'm also told that Iran is saying certain things publicly. You know what I mean? Death to America, the blood will run through the streets. But behind the scenes, they're very much like, okay, please, we want this. No more bomb.
Well, I feel like President Trump has always shown a clear understanding of how you kind of have to give that off-ramp, that sort of saving of face to your opponent, or else it's never going to work.
I've been saying it since day one, right? Sun Tzu said you have to build your opponent a golden bridge on which to retreat. That's a very good reminder, actually. I'm gonna do something about that. Pakistan and Qatar, who are like they're the good guys here, even though they can be a little bit sketchy. They say we're very close to a deal. They feel like this is real because they're closer to the Iranians. They know those guys better than we do.
The Pakistani field marshal.
Yeah. What? That's no joke, man. He's a very respectable man.
It just strikes me that I don't think of like field marshals. Makes me think of like Napoleonic Wars or something like that.
Maybe you should get out more. Maybe you should read more literature. All right. Some militaries still have field marshals.
Okay.
This is still a tentative agreement. I mean, tentative, like it's a tentative deal. They're getting closer and closer. The senior administration official says there's a 75 to 85% chance that this happens within the next few days. So I would say that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love it. And you know what else I love? I love that an administration is actually talking about peace instead of forever war. You know what I mean? Like it was all about war. And even people forgot. We talked about the basketball game the other day. I mean, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 12, 13, nobody ever gave a damn. They just say, war.
It's somewhere else. It's a foreign thing. And,
Have you seen Survivor tonight? Oh, right. I'm going to watch Survivor with Jeff Probst. Now this is, and I can't believe, I know people in the fake news. I hear it all the time. Let's see here. Trump, Iran deal, very strong. Also a little conceptual. Like people, number one, downplaying it, right? Just always hoping for the best. And, working for peace is better than a forever war, right? He deserves a hell of a lot of
people
credit.
Agree with you on that. Yeah, I think part of the concern for Trump is that there are a lot in the so-called MAGA-sphere with which the war has been unpopular.
Now, what's going on with the shooting in Texas?
So I guess this shooter is barricaded inside a building.
Give me the big picture.
I
what
read
happened?
that it was an inn.
What happened? Where?
11 people shot, Midland, Texas, 1 person dead, and the shooter's still alive, from what we hear, but barricaded, and it's a standoff with SWAT teams.
You know what happened in Midland, Texas? That's where George W. Bush had his failing oil company headquartered in Midland. And George H.W. Bush, I believe, also lived in Midland, but did much better than his son. His son, George W., had all kinds of hang-ups about, the old man, right? And that's one of the reasons why we went to war in Iraq, because George W. wanted to outdo the old man. The war hero. He was all these things. He was mad. He's mad. Bitter man. They had a really weird relationship. So, remember, he wanted to fight his dad, mano a mano. It's a famous quote. Let's go, Dad, mano a mano. Jerk. So what else? All right, so this is a thing. Do you think it has anything to do with George W. Bush, being that it's in his hometown?
That would be a wild development. At this point, I don't have any reason to believe
Don't rule anything in or out.
Okay, yeah.
All right, and then I want to play something for the people out there. I think this has to be addressed. The situation of the fans and how they behaved the other night. Cut 3, please. Cut 3.
This is worse than last year.
All right. Well, let me listen to a better one. This
dramatic music is a little much.
Yeah, the music, but they were throwing cones at each other. It was actually pretty wild.
Did you see that one video of the guy who threw the cone up in the air and it perfectly landed on someone's head, upside down? Like right side, like it was a hat. On the guy.
I know. I try to wear those as kids. You know what I mean? That's what we would do.
Right.
Cut 2, please. Here they are. Wait, they're trying to destroy a city bike, which, quite frankly, I hate those things. Cut 2. Hold on. All right, let's try another one. This doesn't sound like the riot I had in mind.
Right.
All right, now they go really to town. Here they are. This is the scene. Bunch of people standing on a cab, smashed in the windows already, broke big parts of the cab, and they take out their belts and they start whipping the thing, which to me is like, do they have a car fetish? Is there something going on? I'm serious. They took the belt out, that keeps your pants up, and they start whipping the car, including a woman. Let's go with that one. Cut 4. You hear it? Ew! And one guy in the background, you hear him, he goes, "Oh, that's hot." The whip. They brought out the whip. Whipping the thing. And everyone's like, wow. And where are the cops? Yeah, the cops, like Jessica Tish and her minions over there don't know what the hell to do.
I guess, yeah. The sheriff in San Antonio said, we do things a little differently in Texas. So
we're going to fix this Texas style. I mean, also, you got to, the Spurs guy got beat up. He's wearing a T-shirt that says Spurs.
Terrible.
Now, I mean, look, I can see throwing beer at the guy. I could see making fun of him. I could see giving him a wedgie. I could see all kinds of things you could do to this guy that are, like, in good, clean fun. But they were basically trying to kill the guy. Listen to this. Cut 6. They're beating him up. Ooh. Oh, man. I mean, the mob sounds insane. Now, you want to know a little bit about the psychology behind this? Oh, I want to remind everybody, this is not brand new. I mean, I know I'm wagging my finger at everybody, but it's not like this was invented. This hooliganism is invented when the Knicks won. It's been happening for a long time. 50 years ago almost, when Reggie Jackson got those 3 home runs and won the World Series. You remember that? You don't remember that.
I know of it. I wasn't alive at the time, but I'm well aware of that.
Oh, look at you bragging about how young you are. Cut
brag?
7, please. Cut 7. 1977, October. Reggie Jackson just became the ultimate champion. Go ahead.
October.
And a tremendous accomplishment for Reggie Jackson. His broken field run through the rejoicing Yankee fans. Another great athletic achievement for Jackson, but nothing like the 5 home runs that had given New York a world championship.
Now, I will tell you this. They are underreporting the scene.
Yeah.
Because Reggie Jackson is running through crowds like a football player.
Yeah, he
decking
breaking
everybody.
tackles.
He's going nuts. He's aggressive.
Yeah, he had a nice stiff arm at one point.
And then the last scene is about, I would say, roughly 10,000 people on the field. I remember being like mesmerized by that. Like, you can't go on the field. And they did.
Yeah. I remember very well when the Yankees won in 96, they had the cops on horseback that came out and lined the field.
Yeah.
And then Wade Boggs actually rode one of the horses around.
That's a nice touch. They actually started doing that, I think, in the 80s. They brought the horses in. It's like, no more. We're not going to let you guys tear up the field. I was fascinated. In fact, the Mowens, who lived down the block from me, they were at the game. They took some of the grass and brought it back. And
That's what people did.
Planted it in their own lawn. I know another guy who lived around the block on Cedar Street came home with a chair from Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
This is back, they weren't selling them at auction. They ripped the damn thing out.
Yeah.
You okay with me giving the wedgie to the San Antonio sports guy?
On a moral level or legally? I think so, yeah. I
think it's like certain things you can do.
Yeah, that's okay.
Although, who knows? They may construe it, as something penetrative, which it's not. It doesn't count when it's underwear.
Everybody keep their belts on.
All right, James Flippin. I got the goods on. Am I the only one interested in Governor Wes Moore of Maryland? I mean, I've always said he was a phony, and now we no, KNOW, that it's been proven. It's been proven all over again. And a little bit more on the psychology of these nut jobs who hit the street. Why are they doing it? There's a psychiatric reason, right? I mean, we're going to intellectualize it and make them sound better than they are, but these thugs have a motive that doesn't have to do with sports. Be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks host the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Tonight at 7 p.m., it's soccer night, and kids glow around the bases postgame. Saturday at 6:30, it's Broadway night with postgame fireworks and Broadway rave. Sunday at 1:30, it's Military Appreciation Day, and the kids run around the bases.
A great day out for the entire family. Kids run the bases after every Sunday home game. Want the best seats all season? Get more Ferry Hawks for only $63. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Sustain Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Sustain Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
Greg Kelly.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I am enjoying possibly the best tasting food in the world. Fruity Pebbles in bar form. Fruity Pebble bar. Marshmallow cereal bar. Natural and artificial flavor. Natural? Yeah, I got to see the natural. This thing looks like a block of uranium. All right? There's got to be nuclear in here. It is yellow and turquoise and orange and, like Fruity Pebbles. There ain't no fruit in Fruity Pebbles. It is delicious. Very, very, very delicious. And we've had a bunch of these for a long time on display, and I have resisted until moments ago. Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, and the rest of it. Absolute trash. You don't want to eat this stuff ever. But if you do, it is, wow, it's fun when they go down. It is it's amazing what they actually concocted in the lab. You can't grow this thing. It doesn't come from nature. You gotta, I don't know how many chemicals. I mean, look at that color. I gotta tell you, this is from the nuclear factory. There's no way this occurs in nature, but they make them, and people buy them. Sometimes I wonder who's eating these things. You go by the store, you go by the little newsstand, and they got candy straws and Sour Patch Kids and all this stuff. Who's eating them besides me? I've never seen anybody purchase any of this stuff except for me. All right, a couple of other things. I want to, the psychology, just so you know, these people who are running around loving the Knicks so much that they have to take down a stop sign. I mean, what does that have to do with the victory of your team? Well, I found a documentary about all this stuff, and it's very interesting what really is going on here. By the way, disproportionate, they're coked up. There's a lot of cocaine, and that kind of explains it. Number one, a lot of these guys are on cocaine. And then there's other little factors going on as well. Do me a favor. This is from my friends in France, and they suffer from the same thing. Football, which we call soccer. You've seen those guys go crazy over there, burning down villages and the rest when their team wins or loses. Cut 8, please. Cut 8.
And then there's Indonesia. In 2022, violence at the Kanjuruhan Stadium during a match led to the deaths of 135 people. Sociologists often point out that these incidents are usually less about football. They are more about a mix of young male group identity, crowd psychology, status competition, alcohol, urban tensions, and the opportunity for disorder under the cover of a mass celebration.
A lot of different factors there. And this reporter goes on, a little bit more detail. Cut 9.
Studies from Germany show match day violence spikes 70% during derby games. Not because of the result, because of the rivalry. The us versus them wiring in the human brain cranked up to maximum, surrounded by thousands of people feeling exactly the same thing.
I get it. Best thing to do is not go to these things. One more. Cut 10, please.
Football offers something wholesome: tribe, identity, brotherhood, purpose. And when that identity feels threatened by a loss, a rival club, a referee decision, rage becomes performative. That is why these scenes repeat themselves. And Caught in the Middle is a beautiful game that often reveals an ugly reality. Sometimes people are not fighting over the sport. They're fighting for belonging, for release, for rage, for recognition. And football just happens to be the stage where all of it explodes.
And it could be football in Europe, could be football here, could be basketball like it was the other night, baseball. Ooh, I'm looking at that cage fight. Look at that. Look at that thing. It's a stadium. I wonder what it would look like on the inside. It is a stadium. Wow, they built a stadium, and it looks like every seat is going to be a great seat inside the cage match. I'm going. I can't wait. Oh, they're the MSNBC people. They're so worried. They call it volcanically corrupt. MSNBC says it's volcanically corrupt. To have a UFC fight on the South Lawn? Get over yourselves. It's awesome. It's going to be awesome. Now, I will be scanning the horizon. I don't want any drones, all right? I don't want a drone attack. I'm sure the security is going to be really, really good. But you got to wonder that they were able to go out and put 8647 on the street. Did you see that? 8647 on the great big piece of grass on the National Mall? That's crazy stuff, and I don't like it. 8647, get rid of. To me, that's the government. That's the government. You know, I hear Tucker is saying, like, why would President Trump call off the investigation into his own attempted murder? Part of it is he's got to weigh a lot of different things. He is surrounded every day by people with guns, Homeland Security. You know, he's got his people there that he likes, and he's got people there that you can't possibly know what they could do. I wondered this as a little kid, watching Ronald Reagan in New York, and he was surrounded by cops. What would it take for one cop, to do it, right? I mean, you can't vet everybody. You can't get in everybody's head where somebody disguises themselves as a cop. These uniforms you can replicate them. It's very dangerous. Now, I want to go back to the violence for a moment. There was one nice guy in the middle of all the violence on Wednesday night who tried to do the right thing and tell everybody to stop fighting and leave the stop sign and the pole alone. Now, you might be able to hear him in the middle of all this stuff, and they basically start beating him up after he tries to stop them and all their foolishness. Cut 11, if you don't mind. Cut 11. Hear him? No. And they start beating him up. Leave him alone. That's what he gets for trying to be a nice guy. Terrible. Terrible. All right, that's good. Well, it's funny, all that stuff, it's like 10 January 6s. The only thing good that happened is nobody got shot by the cops, because that's what happened on January 6th. This thing was worse than January 6th. More damage. A lot more damage, actually. Just taking out one of those, the taxi cab. The taxi cab is alone caused more damage, resulted in more damage. Hey, when's the Puerto Rican Day Parade? Mayor Zoran Mamdani's clueless approach to the Puerto Rican Day Parade keeps getting worse from the Post. His office sent out an email canceling the traditional Gracie Mansion reception, so it's Sunday. And he managed to offend all the Puerto Rican and Latino community leaders who would normally attend. Then his team revived the event with a parade luncheon planned for Friday, but mainly invited younger radicals in good standing with his Democrat Socialist movement, dissing most directors of the parade committee as well as dignitaries from Puerto Rico. Another diss, a mayoral aide announced Mamdani would prioritize marching with working-class New Yorkers, implying the older types have lost touch with the real community. All this as the mayor has thrown his weight behind Democratic Socialist challengers in 2 House races in predominantly Hispanic districts. He's backing lefty loon Delancia Avila Chevalier over Representative Adriano Espaillat. Strike one. Adriano Espaillat, that guy's been around forever. He's been around forever. You're going to really take him on? You know, there's certain things you leave alone in politics. Worse is his support for Assemblywoman Claire Valdez over Brooklyn Beep Antonio Reynoso, who happens to be the choice of retiring Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez, perhaps the most respected political figure in the city's entire Latino community and a lifetime achievement honoree at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. This is very amateur. This is very, very silly. What a foolish man. You know, but that's the thing about it. You can become mayor at the same time being bad at politics. You just get a base. In this case, a bunch of privileged, college-educated 20-somethings bitter about everything because they look at their phones all day long and they see other people having a better time. The Post says, we hear that State Senator Luis Sepulveda and other prominent Puerto Rican electeds and community leaders will now boycott anything Mamdani puts together. He may well have infuriated fellow lefty Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as well. She's besties with Velázquez because she understands she can learn from leaders who've broken ground and ceilings before her. We don't try to get into other angles here. Banquero versus Dominican, lifelong New Yorkers versus imports from Florida or Texas. The key is that the mayor's operation seems bent on offending everyone who's not a full-fledged fellow traveler, i.e. communist. Arrogantly making needless enemies is a good way to make yourself a one-term wonder boy. Yep. That's and that's fine with me. All right. Give me a call, 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222 on this savagely hot Friday. Be right back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Oh, yeah. Anybody ever find themselves trapped in these crazy rabbit holes, you know, true crime, all that stuff? Nasty. I found a case in Canada. I don't even want to think about it, but it was this senior military officer who was in his mid-40s and just snaps and starts killing people, breaking into their houses. And he was like, you know, friendly with the Queen of England and just totally, oh, gosh, it's terrible. Hey, SpaceX right now is available, publicly traded. You can get a piece of SpaceX. It will be, when all is said and done and all the stocks are kind of flowing around, probably one of the most important and most valuable companies in the world, although not the most valuable. SpaceX, Elon Musk, those great big rocket ships and the satellites and all that, and the Tesla stuff too. I think there's some crossover. It's going to be $1 trillion company, $1 trillion company. Apple, I think, is $1 trillion company. Maybe Exxon, that kind of thing, but not too many $1 trillion companies. Now, a couple of things about that. Let's see here, Jake. Just the most basic bullet points for news updates today on SpaceX. This is from Jake Novak. SpaceX shares will begin trading today on NASDAQ under the stock symbol SPCX. 555.6 million shares will be for sale at the opening price of $135 per share. The company's initial public valuation will be $1.77 trillion. Yes, and making it the seventh most valuable U.S. company. Trading will begin sometime. I thought it was going to be. It's happening now, but I thought it would be right when the market opened. That's not the case. Now it's amazing. Trillion. We don't have a trillionaire, but it looks like by the end of today, Elon Musk will be the first trillionaire ever. And one thing about trillion, I heard President Trump the other day say nobody understands what a trillion is. You can't fathom how big that number is. And I kind of like, it's interesting that he said that. I didn't think too much of it. And it turns out he's totally right. You think a trillion. Okay, a trillion. I hear $1 trillion deficits or $1 trillion budgets for the government or Pentagon. Okay, trillion. I've heard it a lot. And what is a trillion? A trillion is 1,000 billion, right? And now we talk about billionaires all the time. 1,000 billion, $1 billion 1,000 times is a trillion. But it is actually an astounding amount of money. So there was a thing in the journal. Imagine this. If you could if you had $1 million cash and you went to the bank and you said, turn this into pennies, please, right? And you take $1 million worth of pennies and you stack them up. Stack them one up on top of the other, right? How high do you think they're going to go? How high would 1 million pennies go? Or no, $1 million worth of pennies. About a mile, about 5,000 feet straight into the air. 1 mile. Now, let's say you went back to the same bank and you said, hey, here's $1 billion. I would like pennies. $1 billion in pennies, please. I'd like to exchange this. And they gave you all those pennies. You know how far those pennies would go? Anybody know? Anybody want to take a guess? They'd go 1,000 miles up. 1,000 miles. Right? Wow. 1,000 miles. That certainly beats 1 mile. You think you're all that if you're a millionaire. Well, the billionaires, it's all about being a billionaire these days. Now, okay, so 1,000 miles. Where are we? 1 mile, 1,000 miles. Now you come back. You really did well. You invested. You saved. You were frugal, and you found out, hey, I got $1 trillion in the bank, and you want to do the same stunt, the same situation. So you go back to the bank. Hey, here's $1 trillion cash. Please turn these into pennies. All right, and then you come back with your big load of pennies. How high do you think those pennies are going to stack? So again, $1 million worth goes a mile. $1 billion worth goes 1,000 miles. So $1 trillion worth of pennies would go all the way to the moon and back, and then back to the moon and back. 2 round trips to the moon in pennies. Isn't that just astounding? I had no idea that was that much. I just find it's breathtaking. And people don't understand what $1 trillion is. They don't know. Maybe now they know, but it's a lot of money, and Elon Musk will be the first trillionaire in human history. Good for him. Good for him. Who's going to be kicked out of and forgotten by history pretty soon is Wes Moore. Wes Moore, the governor. Very good looking, very handsome, but a liar and a resume padder. People pad their resumes, don't get me wrong. I know that. People try to make it, they try to look as cool as they can. For instance, Bill Clinton got busted padding his resume when he left the White House. He said, look, everybody, I try to put my best foot forward. I put on my resume, I was the Attorney General of Arkansas at the age of 28. I became governor at the age of 30, served 3 terms as governor of Arkansas. I was a Democrat nominee, the youngest since John F. Kennedy. And then I went on to serve 3 terms as president in the White House. And everybody was like, wait a second. He said this in front of a bunch of people, an audience at Washington Correspondents' Dinner. Hey, man, come on. 3 terms. Everybody exaggerates on these resumes, but not like you, Wes Moore. What you did was stolen valor. Stolen valor, and he thought he could get away with it. Well, he's busted. And I got to hand it to CNN, of all people. Now, I know this person. I met her once. Kate Baldwin is her name. And she's not like fake news like the rest of them. She can be a little bit fake news. After all, she works there, right? But she's from the Midwest. And she kind of humiliated this guy. I mean, big time humiliated him. Where's that question? Where's that? She's fantastic, all right? She just totally annihilates Wes Moore, who went there to repair his reputation, and instead he destroyed it. All right? This is the one that, what's her name? Oprah said would be the next Obama. Next Obama. Here's what he sounds like on the way out. Cut 16.
I know that a decade after redeploying from one of the most traumatic moments in my life, where we were deployed to one of the most dangerous places in the world, where I lost friends over there, where we know the dangers that we had to face every time we had to leave the wire, that trauma and frankly that therapeutic process that I was going through in writing, where I was very clear that some of these things are going to be composites, and do I wish on certain things I would have been more, added more context.
He made it up, and he blames PTSD. I told you that was a scam. Very, very few, it's real, but that is a scammer, and I knew it all along. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit dyingdollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's dyingdollar.com.